The traditional job search process is actually really focusing on only one aspect in your job hunt. Okay, is this last part, connecting with the employer. Okay, and because of this focus on this notion of connecting with the employer, this thing about, oh, how can I craft my CV? How do I answer interview questions becomes so critical. And many of my clients, before embarking on this notion of switching careers, were so focused on this traditional job search process, right? Where they'll come and ask, oh, how do I craft my CV so that I can I can sort of make a career switch? Well, let me tell you something.
Thanks for clicking on this short video. This is an extraction from a longer video of a workshop. The link to this longer video is in the description below. There, we discuss other facets of the same issue discussed here. Do take a look too.
First of all, let me sort of highlight to you, what do you think are some potential concerns employers have about career switches? Quite a few things, right? So, top of the list is what? Whether you have the relevant skills, outlook, and knowledge and experience. Yeah? What else? This ability to adapt to the new industry, to a new role, also becomes very, very important. Right? Something they are worried about. Right? Can you fit in with your new colleagues because new culture? Maybe the boss is younger than you. Right? The colleagues are coming from a different background. Can you fit in? Yeah? Did you have issues in your previous work environment? Are you escaping from your previous work? What are the issues? Okay. Salary expectations. This is especially pertinent to two groups of people. One, senior management or people who have come from a potentially high salary, right? They are worried whether you go into this new situation, are you expecting the same level of salary, right? The other group of people that they will be this factor would be relevant is if you are someone who is of an older age, senior mature workers, right? Where your salary has been built up over time. What are your salary expectations? Okay. This notion of longevity, same thing again, right? They are worried, right? Are you treating this as a temporary stopgap measure, right? Or if you are older worker, how long do you have that you can contribute to what they need for you to do? Okay, so I'm gonna sort of deal with this individually, all right? And because of this, what I need you to understand is that by having your CV and your interview, right? If you focus just on these two to try and address all these concerns, your chance of success, it won't be very high. Okay? Because again, as I said, the traditional job search process is only focusing on the last lap, the connecting with the employer part. That's why I get so many questions from people to say, what do I need to do in my CV? How do I address this question in the interview? Okay? So I want to share with you what are the notion, what is wrong with the traditional job search process right now. All right? What is wrong with it? Now, it's an acronym, so I'm not trying to be rude or facetious about it. Okay, it's an acronym. So take a look at it. C, right? C stands for what? C stands for, you see something on the job portal you like, you click on it. Okay. R, you look at a job description, you review it, right? Then you say, oh, it looks interesting. Okay. Then A, you what? You apply. You apply for that job, right? You apply, you maybe send out 20, 50, 100 job applications and you apply for it. Okay. P is what? P is then after you send in all the job applications, you start praying that you get interviews, you get called up for interviews, that, whatever you've written in your CV or your cover letter will overcome all these concerns that potential career employers would have on career switches. All right. If you are relying on the traditional job search process, especially as a career switcher, your chance of success is not very high. Essentially, there are four components. Okay, you know yourself, what your motivations are, your skills, your strengths. You know what's happening out there in the marketplace, right? Salaries, what are the benchmarks, what are the prospects in the different industries or different jobs. Okay, what I've been discussing about addressing all those concerns that employers have as a career switcher is really focused on the next two components. All right, so you can see the traditional job search process is only focused on the last bit. If you ignore the first three portions here, your chance of success in addressing all those concerns that potential employers have with regards to job switches or career switches, you will not be able, your chances of overcoming all those concerns are very low. Okay? So, in the modern job search process, you have to put in the effort to do all those steps that I've suggested here in order to allow you to make a successful career switch. In fact, I would even say that not only career switches, but if you are a mature worker, right? If you are someone who's been absent from the job market for a long time, like returning mothers, you need to get on the wagon of this modern job search process, because the traditional job search process, easier as it may be, will not be as effective for you already. Okay? I hope you get the message, because I think this is a very, very critical, important message for you to think about. Okay? Very, very important message for you to think about. Because as a career switcher, you need to overcome all these concerns. And the previous way of looking at the job search process, the traditional way, will not be so effective to allow you to overcome those concerns. Okay? Now, let's assume you've done all the legwork. You've developed your network, you've gone out, you've created a personal brand and all that. Okay? How do you go about addressing all this in all those processes that I've mentioned? All right. So let me focus on the first few here first. Relevance, ability to adapt, fit with colleagues, issues at work and all that. Right? Here, you need to provide examples, evidence to show that you have all those things there. Okay? You provide examples in your personal branding, like maybe on your LinkedIn, your accomplishment statements, when you talk to people in your network, when you are interacting with your network, right? You share those examples. Okay? In your resume, by the time you send in your resume, you craft those examples in terms of accomplishment statements, things that you have done. Okay? So again, like I mentioned, right? You can address this, but relying on your resume alone is not effective enough for you. You have to put the legwork in trying to address all these concerns in your other avenues, in your personal branding approaches, in your interaction with your network. You have to provide examples, you have to provide evidence. Okay? Now, assuming you've overcome all this and you've been called up for an interview, how do you then overcome all these concerns? Essentially, basic interview steps. Okay, obviously, the STAR method, right? Situational, task, activity, and results. Much has been written about this. You can take a look at that, what's available online. But here, the focus here is on illustrating how you can solve their problem. How you can solve their problem, right? So you should provide examples or evidence to show that you have done something similar to solve their problems. Okay? Now, the best way to give you a strong leg to stand on is to connect your current and old transferable skills in your old or current job to the new situation, right? What have you got in your portfolio of skills and experience that is relevant to the new career that you're looking at. Obviously, you can't know everything in that new career, right? So you have to be able to demonstrate that you are open to learning, that you're enthusiastic about learning new things. Okay. Again, provide examples of what the dissimilar situations you had encountered in the past about your willingness to try new things, to learn new things. Okay. I want to address salary expectations. Okay, because that's one of the key issues that career switchers have, employers have with regards to career switches. Now, expectations here, I want to start from you as a career switcher. What are your expectations? You have to be very clear about this, right? In other words, what is the lowest salary you think you can accept? Now, I'm not saying that you should go very low. You should also look at what's happening in the market for that role. Okay? But the question here is not only about market value, it is about whether you can justify that market value given your experiences that you have. Okay? For those of you who say, I want to have a higher than market value as far as my salary is concerned, then you have to look at what value you bring to the table in order for the employer to justify paying you above market value. Okay? And here I come back to this notion. Do you have a strong leg to stand on? If you go to box 2 or box 3, if you pivot to box 2 or box 3, you still have a strong leg to stand on, right? Either you have the same industry experience or you have the same career experience, but in a different industry. Okay? If you pivot, you still have something to say about your past experiences and the value you can bring to the table. All right? Because at the end of the day, you want to be an asset to the company. You want to be an asset to the company, and you want to be able to tell them, I can help you. I can help you. All right? Next, I want to talk about longevity. Whether you're committed to the new role that you're going to be applying for, right? Are you going to be a stopgap measure? So again, you have to provide evidence of what you've done in the past to say that, I've been given a project and I've done what I needed to do in order to complete this. Okay? You have to give evidence, give example. Same thing. All right? Now, what if you are a mature worker? Okay? What are the concerns? If you're a mature worker, a couple of concerns, right? Whether you have a long enough runway to contribute to that new job, or they think, hey, you are downgrading yourself, are you willing to accept a lower salary? Okay. Now, again, before we talk about how to convince the employer, I need you to come from the point of view of yourself as a career switcher, especially if you are a mature worker. Okay. First of all, you need to do your research and find out about the company that you're applying to. In fact, you will want to perhaps select companies which has the right culture, the right environment, and the right problems for you to solve. Okay? No point going into a company where they have no track record of hiring older workers, where the culture is totally alien to you and you cannot accept, and where the issues that they're facing in a company, you cannot help them. No point going to companies like that, no matter how attractive that company is in terms of brand name or whatever. If it doesn't suit you, if it doesn't match up with what you can give value to them, why? There's no point, right or not? Okay? Now, the other thing you need to consider as a mature worker looking to switch careers is also looking at a couple of areas. Number one is whether the company, when they provide salary, it's not just about salary, it's about the total benefit package. Can you accept that? Okay? Remember what I said, salary, right, is not the only thing. You have to look at the total benefits to you. Right? So for example, if you as an older worker, go into a role which allows you to be exposed to many people. You enjoy interacting with people, allows you to travel to a country which you have experience in and you enjoy going to that country. That's a benefit, even though the salary may be slightly lower than what you are used to. Okay. The other thing is also whether the new role allows you to have a work-life balance that you so crave, especially at an older age. Right? I've had so many clients who this portion of work-life balance becomes such an overriding factor for them that they were willing to look at a slightly lower package in order to allow them to have that. All right. So again, here it is about being an asset to the company, and making sure that you position yourself as a problem solver. Okay. Now, I talked a little bit about the salary and work arrangements. I think this is especially important for older workers here, right? Because you have to marry this up with what your priorities are and what your lifestyle is, especially at an older age. Okay, for me, for example, when I embarked on this notion of a career as a career coach, right, I had to consider what is my lifestyle, what are my priorities. Would I want to jump back into a corporate life where weekends 24/7 call on call? I have to be away from the country for many weeks in a month. Is that what's important to me? What are my priorities? My priorities were my family, my parents. Okay, those are my priorities. You may have the same, you may have different. You need to understand this. Okay, if that's the case, then you need to then consider alternative work arrangements, whether it's working by project basis, whether it is working on a consultative basis, all right, or whether maybe even embark on an entrepreneur journey like what I did, where I have full control over my time and who I want to service. Okay?
Hi, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you've seen and can't wait for the next one, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel in the link below. See you soon.